Hey gamers! If you're fan Metroidvania games, then you've come to the right place. In this video, I'll show you top 15 best Metroidvania games that you should play in this early 2025. Sorry about the list from the last video, there were probably a lot of action platformers in there, but this time my recommendations for the top Metroidvania games will definitely be something you'll love. But before we dive to the list, let's hear a quick words from our sponsor. If you're looking to buy games at the best prices, there's only one place to go, and that's at Instant Gaming. Seriously, Instant Gaming, it's my go-to spot for grabbing games at crazy discounts. Not only do they have some insane deals, but they're also doing giveaways. Here you're not going to find discounts like this anywhere else, trust me. They've got games for all the major platforms like PC, PS5, Xbox, and also Nintendo Switch. So what are you waiting for? Go check out your favorite games with Instant Gaming by click the link in the description and save some cash with amazing discount in Instant Gaming. By using my link, you're not just saving money, but also support this channel. Alright then, let's jump back into the list. Cookie Cutter is this underrated Metroidvania game that, honestly, you should have played in 2024. But don't worry, it's still totally worth playing in 2025. In this game, you play as Cherry, a badass cyborg girl on a mission to save her creator, Shinji, who's been kidnapped by an evil corporation. The combat is fast-paced and super fun, and it's the real highlight of the game. You've got quick attacks, parries, special abilities, and satisfying finishing moves that make every battle feel rewarding. What's cool is that the combat system is super flexible. You can experiment with different weapons and combos, so no battle ever feels repetitive. The visuals are mind-blowing, with smooth, hand-drawn animations and a creepy yet cool character design. Somber Echoes looks like it has the potential to be a standout in the Metroidvania genre, even if it's not entirely groundbreaking. The dark atmosphere is super immersive, just like a classic dark Metroidvania. The combat feels solid, and the mobility-based exploration adds a lot of fun. Speaking of combat, it's fast-paced and brutal. I tried the demo, and there are some attacks you can't block. You'll have to parry to survive. The dark areas and tight spaces really amp up the adrenaline, especially with what seems to be increasingly complex level designs in the final version. The game is rumored to release in Q1 2025, but we'll have to wait and see if that holds up. For now, if this sounds like your kind of game, add it to your wishlist and keep an eye on it. It's worth checking out. Resetna is a new Metroidvania robot game you need to play this January. In this game, you play as a combat robot revived by Apex AI to defeat Signal, a digital frequency causing chaos in a post-apocalyptic world. You'll be accompanied by your loyal drone, IXA, as you explore destroyed zones, uncover hidden secrets, and fight against the influence of Signal. The new gameplay teaser has been released, showing two mysterious zones, Darkness Zone and Acidia. In Acidia, dangerous experiments with entropium wrecked everything, creating the Darkness Zone full of reality distortions. Plus, there's a unique upgrade system called Tetris Chip Upgrade. You can collect chips to customize your weapons and abilities, making you stronger against tougher challenges. Voidwrought is a fast-paced atmospheric 2D action platformer that blends eerie lore with smooth combat. You play as a simulacrum, collecting the blood of gods while exploring the ruins of an ancient civilization. The story is told through lore stones, offering a deep dive into the world, though it lacks heavy character interactions. Combat is quick and satisfying, with a simple moveset that evolves as you unlock new abilities. The game's audio design stands out, with immersive sound effects and a haunting soundtrack that enhance the atmosphere. Exploration follows classic Metroidvania mechanics, with backtracking and unlocking new abilities to reach previously inaccessible areas. Boss fights are also memorable but not overly difficult, with some feeling easier as the game progresses. Biomorph is a Metroidvania game that lets your character transform into enemies you've defeated. The game dropped in 2024, and I'm sure you'll love it. You play as Harlow, who wakes up with no memory and soon finds his friend Cleo, frozen in a strange state. Together, they embark on a journey to figure out why their ship crashed and why they're in this bizarre situation. What makes this game super fun is its combat and puzzle-solving mechanics. You can transform into enemies you've already beaten and use their abilities to either defeat more enemies or solve tricky puzzles. As the title suggests, this transformation ability is called Biomorph, and it's definitely one of the coolest features. It's a great game to play in 2025, especially while waiting for new releases later in the year. The Devil Within Satgat is a dark Metroidvania-style game, heavily inspired by Eastern mythology. You play as Kim Rip, a warrior cursed by demon blood, and your mission is to investigate the mysterious Black Tower that suddenly appeared out of nowhere. This tower is causing chaos on Earth, bringing with it demon monsters that you have to fight off to save the world. When it comes to combat, Satgat is pretty challenging. You'll use a katana for close range and a shotgun for long-range attacks, and the stamina system forces you to be careful with every move you make. Parrying is key in this game. It can be frustrating at first, but once you get the hang of it, the satisfaction you get when you pull it off is totally worth it. The bosses can be pretty tough, and you'll find yourself retrying a lot, but every time you finally defeat one, you'll feel like you're getting better and better.
An ancient evil.
Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter is bringing us back to a dark fantasy world full of adventure. So, if you're into crazy challenges, this game is definitely for you. The sequel introduces a new hero, Arlo, a young mouse who's gearing up to become the Warden of the North, and he's facing off against some pretty terrifying enemies, like a bat vampire that's out to kill. The gameplay is pretty much the same as the first one, still Souls-like with tough combat. Even the weakest enemies can kill you if you're not careful, so no slacking off here. A cool new feature in Tales of Iron 2 is the need to constantly sharpen your weapons. If you don't, your damage output will drop significantly. Imagine fighting a tough boss and suddenly your weapon gets dull. Now you have to find time to sharpen it while dodging attacks. Talk about added stress.
To purge your lands of the darkness, once and for all.
Path of the Teal Lotus is like a visual and emotional journey. How could it not be? The game has this gorgeous art style, almost like hand-drawn illustrations with a strong Japanese vibe. And the story? It's got a deep message about the fleeting nature of life. In this game, you play as Bo, a kitsune sent to help trapped souls in the Sakura Kingdom. The gameplay is super fun too. Beyond the challenging platforming, the game throws in some puzzles that really make you think. The combat is fun as well. Your main weapon, the Equinox Staff, moves a bit slowly, but once you equip it with charms, it gets faster and stronger. The aerial combat in this game really reminds me of Hollow Knight. So if you've played that game, you're gonna love this one. Blade Chimera, the game from Team Ladybug, is something you've probably been waiting for. It was delayed last year, but the good news is it's finally dropping this January. This game has everything we love about 2D action Metroidvania games. Stylish combat, creative platforming, and of course, epic boss fights. Even though the demo was a bit short and didn't showcase all the Metroidvania features, Blade Chimera already looks like it has the potential to be a really fun game. Honestly, I'm getting tired of talking about it because I was worried it'd get delayed again. Haha. But seriously, if you're into cool pixel art, smooth action gameplay, and creative platforming, Blade Chimera is definitely worth the wait. Arzette the Jewel of Fairmore is a 2D platformer inspired by the infamous Zelda CDI games like Link, The Faces of Evil, which turned into a meme. You'll explore the world of Faramore, fight monsters, and collect candles to battle bosses and unlock new paths. The pixel art is dope, and the controls are smooth, though some enemies can be pretty tough. The game has a strong nostalgic vibe. especially with its funny cutscenes and side quests that keep you hooked for more exploration. That said, there are some repetitive parts, like having to go back to old levels to find new items. It's not super long, only about 3 hours to finish, but it's a fun weekend playthrough. Plus, the soundtrack is so catchy, you'll probably end up playing for hours without realizing it. For those of you who haven't played this game yet, I honestly don't know what to tell you. If you're a fan of Metroidvania games, you should have already played this one. The Lost Crown has super fun combat and platforming, but what really sets it apart is the exploration. This time the game goes full-on Metroidvania, and honestly, it's one of the best decisions ever. The mix of combat, platforming, and puzzle solving flows so smoothly. It feels like you're always jumping from one awesome challenge to the next. It has this cool feature called memory shards, which lets you screenshot areas you haven't reached yet and mark them on the map. It's super helpful when you need to retrace your steps after getting new powers. This Prince of Persia gives you a fresh new era that feels way more exciting than the old ones. The Mea Culpa DLC for Blasphemous 2 is seriously awesome. If you're into this game, you're gonna be hyped for all the new additions. In this DLC, you get 2 brand new biomes that are wild, plus 2 new bosses that will definitely raise the challenge level. There are also new skills, abilities, enemies, and items to make your adventure even more epic. The story here is deeper too, giving you more intriguing lore that'll keep you hooked. One of the best parts about Mea Culpa is the fresh enemies and challenges. The bosses are no joke, and you'll really need to level up your skills and strategy to take them down. The questline is another win. You'll be exploring old areas and discovering a ton of new stuff. So it's not just running through the same old places, but finding new items and secrets you missed before. Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights. You know why I'm recommending this Metroidvania? Well, before diving into Ender Magnolia this January, it'll be more fun if you try this game first. Even though, to be honest, the two aren't directly connected. Gameplay-wise, though, they're pretty similar. The combat here is fast-paced and incredibly engaging. While your character doesn't attack directly, you summon spirits to do the fighting for you. And guess what? Ender Magnolia will use a similar mechanic, except you'll be controlling homunculi. The combat also leans into Souls-like territory, so if you enjoy games that challenge your strategic thinking in battles, you're going to love this one. Like I said, Ender Magnolia, the Metroidvania sequel to Ender Lilies, is definitely gonna grab your attention in 2025. If Ender Lilies had you playing as a young girl named Lily, purifying zombie-like blighted creatures, Ender Magnolia shifts things up. This time, you'll play as a different character, Lilac, who's more into tech. The story seems to be a prequel, set in an ancient kingdom that's fallen apart because of a magical blight. The combat system takes a fresh turn too. Instead of summoning knights like in Ender Lilies, you'll summon homunculi to do the fighting for you. You don't need to play Ender Lilies first to enjoy this one, but if you have, you'll definitely notice the fresh updates. They make the game stand out while still keeping the essence of what made the original so good. Nine Souls, the Taupunk Metroidvania with Sekiro-like combat that's totally addictive. Seriously, if you're a Metroidvania fan and haven't tried this game yet, what are you even doing? For real, Nine Souls easily takes my pick for Metroidvania Game of the Year 2024. If you missed my last video, now you know. This game doesn't let you get away with spamming combos. You've got to master parrying and charging up your chi energy to really get into the flow. Honestly, the combat is next level fun and super satisfying. While most Metroidvanias follow a pretty similar vibe, Nine Souls dares to stand out. Its Sekiro-inspired counter mechanics bring a fresh twist to the genre. It's not just about following a successful formula. It's about innovating and delivering something memorable. And trust me, once you play it, you won't forget it. And that's it for today. What do you think about this list? I know there are a lot of Metroidvania games out there that I haven't mentioned yet, but let me know which upcoming Metroidvania game in 2025 you're most excited for. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you don't want to miss another awesome game lists. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.